do you leverage artificial intelligence in your digital transformation? Welcome to this cluster talk on innovative AI projects powered by clusters. How can clusters help to build Europe's AI ecosystem? How do you overcome concerns about ethics, about cybersecurity? Well, this cluster talk is a series organized by the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, the ECCP, with 1,500 organizations on behalf of DG Grow at the European Commission. I'm Chris Burns. I'll be with you during this session, and the agenda is we start with a bit of cluster news, some highlights. Then we will go to some Slido questions and panel discussion with you, including we want you to participate, and then we'll hear about some funding opportunities toward the end. Tech tips, questions. You can pose your questions by punching that Q&A button at the bottom that you see on the screen to raise your hand, or you can punch to raise your hand if you want to make the question directly. With the Slido's questions are through slido.com, hashtag EU Clusters Talks. The Q&A button at the bottom, make sure you punch that if you want to put in some questions, but also watch the chat. That's very important, two-way street with everyone on board to give information and feedback, and that's important as well. Hashtag EU Clusters Talks. Keep that in mind if you want to cast anything that you heard during this discussion wider. And this is also recorded for playback. The slides are also available, lots of information. Okay, let's get this started with news from the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. Antonio Novo, team member of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. Antonio, we know that the clusters are working a lot on AI, right?
That's right. We are moving with industry, solving their needs, and there are many activities developed through clusters, and we will discuss for sure today about them, just giving some references. But we have also other news, and we will start with the Clean Industrial Deal consultation. There is a need to adapt a state aid framework for supporting the development of that industrial deal, and we can contribute with our suggestions. So it's very important for us to submit responses clarifying what can support not only industry but also the intermediates, the networks that are supporting the industries. So please participate and contribute. On the next point, there are very good news from the cluster side. The Commission just launched a call for proposals for the new expert group on cluster policy. There was the expert group working for 4 years, I think between 2018 and 22 or 2019, 23. I was honored to be part of it, and I can tell you that it's extremely interesting and positive for us to be there, because in the context of the expert group, we are exchanging with the member states representative, with the national agencies managing cluster. And this discussion between the member states, the cluster community, and the European Commission is extremely productive. So we need you. We need there the voice of the cluster community and the voice of the agencies, national, also regional agencies. The call is open for near any stakeholder related to clusters. So don't hesitate to go for it and send your proposal. Next slide is on the C2 Labs. The next C2 Lab after Zaragoza is Expert in Denmark next month. And it will be focused on energy, but anything related also to energy projects. And you know that energy is critical for near any initiative on the future of our European Union. So you have an excellent opportunity to link with the best clusters, best professionals in Europe working on sustainability, energy-related topics. So don't hesitate to register, be there, because as in the previous C2 Labs, we will be really working on real projects and hopefully successful projects, and this is the best opportunity that you will have to engage with excellent partners on the best potential proposals for the coming months or years or programs. So this is a strong recommendation to be there.
Yeah, and in the last one, I think there was quite a bit of talk about AI and in Zaragoza, right?
Yeah, it was the main topic, but I'm sure that AI will be again a key technology for expert for energy. We know that this is one of the most important technologies for improving, for optimizing, for monitoring and controlling the energy consumption. So, of course,
Yeah,
AI
yeah,
will.
and some of our speakers today were actually there, so that'll be good to hear from them on that. Okay.
Indeed, that's right. Okay, you know that we are now facing a very important challenge, or a very important, I would say, change in the patterns of commercialization of our products. We need to support our companies in building new markets and new opportunities, and SUTMET is one of the areas where we can grow. So this mission to matchmaking event to Cairo in Egypt is, I would say, very much timely, and I will encourage you to spread the invitation to participate between your members, explore which of them will be interested either directly to participate there because they could participate as SMEs, or through you explore how to increase or create new linkages with those countries. So, as I say, it's open for you. Let's
Yeah, and
for it.
and I think Antonio that that it's in Cairo is another example of how the ECCP has global reach. You have other events in Asia, I think Latin America, so and maybe Africa, I believe. So you have quite a reach there as far as networking uh, internationally.
And this is also an excellent example of how we align cluster activities with the EU priorities.
Yeah,
How can we contribute? All of us or are thinking now, are developing proposals for solving the current challenges, and the ECCP is providing the right opportunities to contact, study, develop those together with others.
right,
So there
right.
are T2 labs. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Antonio. Yeah.
No, no, there are coming situ labs, but also cluster mid regions, in Palma, in Poland, in Italy, some of them in Cluj, some of them with matchmaking parallel to them. And we will cover the full geography at the European level. There are other situ labs also still to be defined, but for fall. So again, keep an eye
Mhm.
and attend because
Yeah,
those
I, I,
are.
I see a question in the in the
Uh-huh.
chat. Is it Palma, Mallorca or Palma in I guess
Palma de
Canarias? But
Mallorca.
it's Mallorca. You can
Palma
see it
de Mallorca.
on that map. You can see Mallorca's in there. It's colored blue. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Palma de Mallorca. So Balear Islands. Yeah,
easy to
yeah.
mix up. Careful when you buy your plane tickets.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I think this is all. Thank you. Thank
That
you,
does it
Chris.
great. Okay, Antonio, thank you so much. We'll hear more from you later on the financing opportunities. And as we mentioned, that some of the speakers today were at that last event, and so we will be talking with them about that, about the C2 lab in Zaragoza. But before we do, we'd like to tap your brains, all of you watching, listening, participating. With some Slido questions. How much do you use AI in your daily operations? Mainly want to do more. That's good. There's a willingness, and I think that's probably why all of you are connected. That's great. And yeah, so somewhat is in second place. It jumped up to second place, 22%. All right, which is also already better than the average. Let me read this one out to you as you're looking at this. Eurostat 2024 said that about 14% of EU enterprises used AI technologies. That was up from 8% in 2023. And what brought it down really was the smaller companies, because about 40% of large companies, EU enterprises, used AI technologies. So it's the smaller companies that we need to bring up, and that is one of the purposes of this actual this discussion. But somewhat 25% so that already is more than I would think is more than the average of the smaller companies. So in that sense, well done, and that you want to do more. That's fantastic. Let's move to the second question. All right, somewhat got up almost to 30%. That's great. In what ways do you use AI to boost your productivity? In what ways? So this is a word cloud. Put whatever you want. And this is what we'll be talking about different sectors during this discussion, during the panel discussion about different sectors, industrial, agri, healthcare. So, right, creating texts, info, presentations, okay, using ChatGPT, meetings, okay. But what about anybody doing innovation? Elaborate ideas and concepts. Okay, that's interesting. Inspiration, brainstorming. Yeah, it's a great source of brainstorming. Okay, a lot of different purposes. Seems like a lot of it has to do with sort of crunching information and text. Okay, just ChatGPT. So creating text is the biggest one. And this is where our discussion, I think, is going to try to push that further in other ways, in other domains. A lot of different ideas there. Okay, let's move on to the third question. What barriers do you see in using AI in your organization? And that's what we're going to be talking about as well. What barriers are there? It's barriers in terms of skills or just reluctance or what? Yeah. So need for training. Skills is a big issue. Yeah. Okay. Hallucinations of LLM. Okay. Right. Fear of use, lack of skills. Yeah. Yeah. Right. The unknown of this thing. Right. Face the fear. Use it as a tool. Right. Danger of sharing sensitive. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Confidentiality. That's true. GDPR. Some people see it as fun or a gimmick, but is it really? Can you leverage it? That's what we want to talk about during this session. Okay, a lot of good ideas there as well. Very interesting to hear about the barriers from you. Ethics, yeah, ethics, right? Technical resources, yeah, it's a resource issue. Reliability, yeah, I mean, you don't take it as the gospel truth, right? You have to use it as a basis, but it is not the be all end all of information, obviously. So careful, caveat emptor. All right, let's move on then yeah. And before I get to the panel, um, here are a couple other facts. AI was used by most enterprises in Europe, in Denmark, Sweden, Belgium, Finland, Luxembourg. But that was only about from 22 to 27%. That was again according to the Eurostat figures that I looked at. So it's actually still pretty low among businesses. And that's why some of these speakers that you see there listed were at that Cluster C2 lab in Zaragoza, where you were talking in part about the use of AI in manufacturing, health, smart cities, crisis management, interregional collaboration. Let us do a quick lightning round. Let's start with Andrei Martinuc, manager of the European Projects Department, Transylvania IT Cluster. Can you give us, Andre, a quick elevator pitch about what you do?
Yes, of course. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Andrei from Transylvania IT Cluster. We are located in the northwestern region of Romania. We are a community of 200 companies of different sizes, starting from startups to large companies, which are developing different technology products, but also software services and AI, including, of course, especially in the last years. And I'm also very proud to say that we are one of a good best practice example on coordinating a regional European Digital Innovation Hub, which is the European Digital Innovation Hub in Transylvania. And our scope, our ambition is to, of course, on one hand, support our company members, which are IT companies, but also to encourage the digital transformation of SMEs, but also public service organizations in our region. Happy to be here.
Great, great. Good to see you. Thank you, Andre. Let's move to Clara Platarios, project director, Smart City Cluster Malaga. You're in Malaga.
Yeah.
You're also, this Smart City Cluster is an alliance of private companies and institutions.
Mhm.
You were recently at a conference in Spain on using AI for digital transformation. So great to talk to you.
Thanks a lot, Chris, and thank you very much for having us here. So yeah, we are the Smart City Cluster. We are a national cluster, but we are based in the south of Spain, and we represent the industry of smart cities. So we are a very transversal cluster. Most of our members are about 200 are companies, but we have a lot of different profiles there. We have universities, research centers, and other kinds of profiles. So we are very interested in AI because since we have companies from very different sectors, we are very proud and we're very lucky to see how this technology has been applied in different aspects. So we work as well with many cities and regions in Spain, and our main goal is to try to create better cities for citizens.
Okay, great. We'll hear more about that. Thank you. Let's move to Elvis Bayric, cluster manager, robotics, high tech, Netherlands. You've been in robotics since at least 2015. I think that's around the time that people actually started talking about it. So you've been in it for quite a while. It'd be great to hear from you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the invite. Thank you for having me here, guys. And thank you for the introduction. So let's talk a little bit about the company that I'm working at this moment. It's like High Tech NL, the company name, and I'm there the cluster manager of robotics. We have 4 different clusters. It's semiconductors, life science, energy, and the robotics cluster. And in the robotics cluster, what we are doing is all different kind of projects, not just funding project, but also projects where we try to help SMEs or robotics companies with the problems they have. And we also always like to find the company that has the problem, and we try to make the matchmaking with the company that has the solution. And our role is mostly to see, okay, is there any solution in the market? If it's there, I'll try to connect them.
Right.
If not, we try to develop it. So, and that's where we come into, is there a national funding or Interreg funding, or is there a European funding? Are there companies aboard that can help us with these kind of things? So the EU cluster is helping here as well. So we went last time in Zaragoza, and it was awesome. We loved it. We
The
met a
C2
lot
lab,
of
huh?
people. Exactly.
C2 lab, yeah.
Yeah, we met a lot of people there, and we talked about different sectors and what kind of challenges there are. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
I would focus today on agriculture, but we have many sectors that we try to help.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Elvis. Let's go to Juan Puerte, manager digital cluster in Catalonia. What are you guys up to?
Hello, Chris. Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah, indeed, we are in Barcelona. We are the digital cluster of Catalonia. My name is Joan Bodem, the cluster manager. And yeah, we as a cluster, we are a bunch of 100 companies, more or less, technological centers, universities, some industrial companies as well, but in general, SMEs. 70% of our companies are SMEs, and we are now focusing very much in boosting digital transformation in industrial ecosystems mainly for SMEs, medium and small-sized industrial companies. This is why we are developing several activities in different vectors. One of them is, of course, boosting collaborative projects, trying to team up industrial companies with technological ones and trying to introduce innovative solutions, mainly of them, of course, AI solutions. Then we are also devoted to provide our members with market intelligence in terms of what the pain points are, what the barriers are for a company to undergo a digitalization process.
Right.
And also we are also tackling with upskilling and reskilling of industrial workers. In fact, we are now coordinating some European projects in this regard. So yeah, this is it. Thank you very much, and happy to be here.
Okay, Juan, thank you very much. Silvia Rossi, manager of Cluster Build. You've been project manager for this Milan City Resilience Department, Armonia project, how to adapt to and mitigate climate change effects. Also working with other cities as well, right, Silvia?
Yes, of course. As a manager, I try to develop a very innovative project. Most of them are funded by European Commission, but I'm here as a cluster build manager based in Emilia-Romagna region, and that is a regional private no-profit association, and we can count 115 members. And of course, you can think about cluster build as the cluster of the construction, but don't be confused, because we can, of course, our members come from the Quadruple Helix, so we are companies, startup, university, research lab, and training entities, and all of them, thanks to our strategies, work for the innovation, transfer technology, transfer activities in general, and try to develop collaborative research and ideas based on the open innovation methodology. And well, we try to work on artificial intelligence because, as I told you before, don't be confused, because we don't think about concrete or brick, but we think about, in general, innovative engineering, innovative architecture, urban regeneration, green energy, and everything that is related to our city, our building, and of course, human-centered thought.
Okay. Yeah, and how much do you use AI in that, on a daily basis?
Yes, of course. It's the only way to innovate such a traditional field like construction. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, great. We'll come back to you. Thank you, Silvia. Grazie. Let's go back to Juan. I want to start with Juan because in Catalonia, you have a lot of projects using or encouraging these companies to use AI in industrial processes like turning wheat into flour, right, Juan?
Yeah, that's it. That's an example of a project that's highlights exactly what we mean when we're talking about helping industries to introduce, in this case, AI to their processes, because in fact, AI is meant to improve productive processes. And in this project, which includes, by the way, and the industrial company, but also the AI pure company and the integrator, we are trying to get the best flour out of different by mixing different types of wheat. So this is it's not easy. I mean, it used to be, but now it can be very much improved. And here is where the AI plays its role.
And how can you give a concrete example of how that does work? Does it help to determine how the actual grinding happens, or is it managing supplies, or what?
Yeah, it's more about it's more about improving the quality. It's more about improving the quality. It's about not having that much waste as before.
Right.
Yeah, that's also important. Yeah, and it's improving processes, not wasting that much. Investing less, to get as much as possible.
Right, to streamline the operation, make it more efficient. As an example, I noticed that Amazon it has in its digital transformation, it uses a lot of AI by analyzing real-time data, anticipating stock shortages, rerouting deliveries, improving shipping times. That AI helps them do that. And I guess you might have similar examples in what you do with your companies, right?
Yeah, for instance, demand forecasting is also a very important vector. We've also developed some projects in this regard, mainly in the fashion industry, and this is also one area, one domain where the AI will be also very crucial in the coming years.
Okay, great. I've got a question I want to go straight to from Alexandre. What are the best approaches, strategies of your clusters to promote AI at SME level? Which one works better? While I still have you, Juan, do you have an example of that?
Yeah, well, I think the most important if you want to encourage companies and you want to help them, you have to know exactly what the pain points are, and we are in this area of the industrial ecosystems from the last year. It's been 1 year since we have shifted our focus, and for us it's very important to know exactly what the pain points are. So this is why we are conducting a survey among more than 400 companies. Small and medium-sized, but also great companies, to know exactly how to face these processes. It's not easy at all. There are a lot of barriers. Not all of them, or I would say the less of them, are technological. So most of them are cultural, resistance to change, etc. So yeah, this is it. To have exactly the best picture of the barriers. Yeah.
Okay. Let me go to Andre about that. Can I bounce that question off of you too, Andre? In Transylvania, and you're more on IT. Do you have an example of that question that we have on the best approaches, strategies of your clusters to promote AI at SME level?
Yeah, so maybe it's not really a strategy. What we do actually is very practical. We organize different specific working groups on different sectors. For instance, we have Industry 4.0 working group, but we also have the Digital Health working group, where we gather, on one hand, the offer and demand, on the other hand, from the SMEs, traditional SMEs. And we create this context where those can talk about different opportunities, where they can collaborate on specific projects. And I will give you an example. We have in the Industry 4.0 more than 100 representatives of SMEs, of IT companies, but also of manufacturing companies, where they meet and discuss funding opportunities which can be used by them. And I will give an example of FSTP opportunities, which maybe all of you already know, to collaborate in adopting AI solutions in different specific needs they have in the manufacturing companies, SMEs.
And can you give a concrete example of that? How can AI help in manufacturing processes?
So, for instance, in the manufacturing SME, which is very traditional here in Romania, on furniture in our region, we have different projects where we encourage the adoption of AI-powered industrial arm robots to do the sanding, to do the polishing, to do the painting, but also welding for different parts in the assembly line, but also production line.
Okay, let me go to Clara, and can you talk about a project or two that your cluster is helping to work on?
Sure. So, as I mentioned before, we have companies from many different profiles because there are a lot of things that are needed in order to create a smart city. And it brings different applications of AI to cities. So maybe some of the most known ones are those city platforms, where are used on one side to help the city councils to manage all the things related to a city. It can go things related to, for example, things related with waste, with water, and things like that. But sometimes they offer as well very nice services for citizens, helping citizen services, new ways of helping citizens to be in contact, to be in touch with the city managers. But there are other very interesting aspects that can be used, like, for example, things related to traffic management. And it's not just a thing related to informing about traffic conditions, but even there is a beautiful example in Valencia, as far as I remember, where they are using this AI in order to support drivers to find spots to park. So parking, it's an activity that creates a lot of traffic jams, and that even it's a huge source of contamination because of the excess of greenhouse gases, for example.
Driving round and round the block to find something, exactly,
Yes.
a parking space.
So that there's a very nice application of AI as well. But there are other things. You were mentioning, Silvia, before about buildings. We have a beautiful example from another of our members that was working on using AI to prevent problems in heritage, in historical buildings.
Historical buildings,
In order to, for example, identify which are when there are some problems that can occur due to the tourism. So it is a forecasting of future problems and doing maintenance on advance in order to prevent those problems.
Were these some projects that were discussed during that conference you had in Spain on using AI for digital transformation? Anything else to add from that conference that could be interesting?
Yeah, well, there were a lot of different
Okay.
Lots and lots of new examples and new ways of using that. But one thing that you mentioned before, and it is still not a huge adoption of the technology, and lots of trainings are still needed in order to really use them properly.
Okay, great. Okay, let's move on to, thank you. Let's move on to Elvis. We'll keep going round and round. Elvis, I'd like to shoot a question to you. How could AI, this is from Daga, how could AI be used by the clusters team to enhance the business model of the cluster, in your opinion? Which I think actually is going to be the subject of a another cluster talk, but let's hear it from you. What do you think?
Sorry, what was the question? I'm trying to figure out what the question
how
is.
how can the cluster itself,
Yeah,
per cluster, use AI
just a cluster, like okay.
to enhance your business model, the business model
Okay.
of the cluster?
Okay, so how is AI helping me as a cluster in robotics? Is that the
Yeah,
question? I get
yeah.
okay, because we have a lot of clusters companies here from each
Okay,
country, and everybody is, I guess, using ChatGPT.
right.
At least they should. You have also Copilot. You have a different kind of AI tools that is available now. How it's helping us? I will look into how it's helping me specifically. What I
Okay,
use,
that's good.
what I use it for is like we have different kind of sectors, and there is a lot of projects going on, and I try to figure out. I'm using ChatGPT to analyze those big documents for me.
Okay,
But what they're doing is I'm always do a check if it's true what AI is giving me.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I would say it's pretty accurate, but sometimes it's giving you things that you say, that's not what we are looking for. And it's
yeah.
not,
So that can that be then time consuming? It's not maybe making anything easier, or is it? It's maybe pointing you in certain directions, and that's then you pursue that, right?
yeah.
You
So
to that.
for all those clusters, I would say, see how you use your prompts, because that's the most important thing, because AI, ChatGPT, all those things is it's helpful, but it's depending on the person and how it's giving information to your AI tool.
Okay, all right.
So if you don't give it the right questions in which direction you are looking for the answer,
Indeed, yeah,
it's going to give you totally different things that you're not looking for, and maybe it's
yeah,
not right, and then it's time consuming, because
yeah.
then you used a half hour, an hour to get the answers that you are looking for, and it's just a waste of time. So
I
I would
agree. Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say, see if you can find an expert in AI, in probably ChatGPT, and they can give you training in how to prompt your questions.
Yeah, very good question. Yeah, yeah, I see that personally too when I do my my work with ChatGPT. A question to you from Alexandre. What
Mhm.
applications of industrial AI are the most popular in your country, the Netherlands?
Sorry, in what? Sorry, the
What applications of industrial AI are the most popular in your country?
Okay, this is a technical question, so it's more like the technical companies and what kind of AI software they're using right now. It's a difficult one. I was speaking last week to Boston Dynamics about their humanoid, and I was interested in how many AI tools they used, let's say 5 years ago, and they would say it's around 3, and I'll say, okay, and how many are you using right now? And they say it's 20. It's 20 different kind of AI software tools that they're using for the
All right.
humanoid just to train it. So I was asking them, okay, and then if you look into, are you using your own AI models? They say no. What we do is we use models that's already available.
Yeah,
So they are working together with companies that has the expertise in that they already trained their AI models with a lot
right.
of images, and they're just using it in their softwares now.
So in actual industrial operations or in coding or in what
In both.
kinds of things concretely? All that?
Yeah. So they, I'll give you an example. Before it was like machine learning, it was more like gathering the pictures yourself and giving it to the robot, and
Yeah.
then he's just using those pictures. So you're training him with that. With AI, it's like taking the next step. You don't need so many pictures anymore, and he can train himself as well.
Okay, good. All right, let's move back to Sylvia. And Sylvia, can I get you on camera there? Is that all right, Sylvia? Ah, there you are. Okay. Yeah, now let's ask you about advice, because now we've heard a lot of inputs. What advice would you give to clusters that are just beginning to explore AI as a strategic area?
Yes, well, thanks to Clara for for mentioning me before, because I think that the best advice that I can give is just to start with concrete, small scale use cases that demonstrate the clear value of the AI. And well, engage early with both industry and research partners to build a shared vision, because we really need a vision. For example, in our case, the construction field is very hard to innovate and very hard to use AI, but invest in training, not just for developers, but also for the managers and decision makers, policy makers, who need to understand AI's potential and limitation. Finally, build a culture of experimentation collaboration. AI is not just a tool, but a catalyst for broader digital and organizational transformation. For example, in the cluster bid, we can count several small case study and project. For example, for the heritage, we work on a project with our value chain Innova Cultural Heritage Management, and our members, both startup, SMEs, and also the research lab TechneHub from Ferrara University, for example, they are working on the digitalization of the Colosseum. And thanks to AI, we can start to develop a digital twin of the monument, of the Colosseum, and try to understand to make them more resilient to all the climate change crisis or the big weather event, for example. Or moreover, we work now on the so-called CHIM, the city digital twin, thanks to another project that share the vision, share the innovation between entrepreneurs and researchers. And the name of the project is Insight, Inspiring City Information Modeling for Urban Resilience. And as a manager, I try to develop a strategy between all the members of the cluster, because all of my members, even if they are very small or big, they have some small scale use cases that I can share and link between all of them. For example, thanks to a IoT startup, I can work on the energy consumption and also the refurbishment of all the buildings in neighborhood or in a small city, and I can connect this IoT startup with architecture, engineering, or also with another innovation small enterprise that work with the sensor for the seismic and safety building and infrastructure. So it's very important to demonstrate the clear value of the AIs thanks to the members of the cluster.
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of overcoming some, as we saw in the polling, the Slido poll, that there is like concern, there's fear by some about it, or wariness, or is it dependable, or but your advice is we still got to use it. We just have to use it judiciously, right? And it can actually improve. It can help us if we use it in the right way.
Yeah.
Okay, let me move back to Juan. Juan, I know there's an Erasmus project on upskilling. We did mention the issue of skills, and all the speakers, please turn your cameras on so we're all together here. Yeah, this Erasmus Plus project. Can you tell us about that? Because skills are definitely an issue there, as we saw in the Slido poll among the viewers, that there needs to be more help in upskilling to use AI.
Yeah, yeah. While this particular project is devoted to, or will focus in the agrotech industry, the manufacturing side of the agrotech industry. And yeah, very brief, it's just we will build up a platform, a technological one, to help us get to as many workers as possible, and we will develop a training program around along 2 or 3 years that the project will last. Because yeah, in fact, as I said before, I don't think AI introduction is a technological thing. Honestly, I mean, AI
It's
is
not. It seems to me to be. No, it's not.
From my opinion, it's not. It's not.
All
I mean, AI has been around for the last decades. The only thing is that now it's been very much democratized, and ChatGPT, this stuff, you know. But in fact, industrial AI speak is something different. In my opinion, it's more about descriptive. It's more about predictions. It's more about prescriptions. It's not about generation. Gen AI is more about generation. Generation is like a black box. You don't know exactly what the guy will be telling you. So it's not in my opinion, it's not applicable right now to industrial needs. In an industry, you have to you need to absolutely trust in the technology. And of course you need the correct workforce to deal with technology. So yeah, that's the context of this project, and that's what we are going to focus in the coming years.
And this project concerns what kinds of sectors, what kinds of companies? Is that in, agri-food, or is in
agri-food? I said agri-food. Yeah, it's agri-food. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very, very good. Let me then move then to Andre. And Andre, can you tell us about this Gen AI Europe project?
Yes, so as a cluster, of course, we try to attract different opportunities for our community, for our company members. And we are very interested and keen to be part of different networks, European networks, which bring opportunities to our companies. And such an example is, of course, Gen AI Network, which is a network of clusters active in the generative AI field. And also one very good example is that together with the members of this network, we managed to apply with a proposal in November last year on I3 program on generative AI for manufacturing sectors. So together with the clusters of the network, but also with some company members of our clusters, we applied for this proposal. We hope it would be a successful one. And yes, this is a good example of how we try to engage the companies of our clusters and participate together with other clusters in similar with similar interests to support each other and to make the European sectors more attractive with the help of AI.
And can you give a success example of that? How that is having impact?
So this was a first initiative together under this network. Let's see where it goes. But we are keen to continue on applying on different opportunities together in similar formulas.
So it's work in progress, travail en cours, as we would say. Okay. Let us then move to Clara. And Clara, let me ask you this question. This is from Alan. Will the EU AI Act have a negative impact on VCs investing in startups where there is a high level of risk, also will the clusters provide training on the EU AI Act? So there are two parts about the potential negative impact in investment and how maybe clusters can help train to adapt and follow the AI Act.
Okay. Well, the first question is not easy to answer.
Yeah.
Because it will depend a lot. What I think that AI will make is that it's even a tool that can be used in order to evaluate and assess the possibilities of a startup to improve it and really create a new source of business. More than in the from the investment part, it's more from the company's part. AI helps to create entities that are more globalized. So probably if startups doesn't use this kind of tool in order to see which is the range of impact that their products and solutions can have, they will probably have problems getting funds. But at the same time, those that get used to use properly these kind of tools will probably have a better view about the possibilities of their business proposals. So
Yeah, and that's where maybe your clusters can help with that.
yeah,
Right.
that's the thing. In fact, one of the things that we do, or that we try to do, but we are getting good results with that, is that we have a wide range of different profiles of entities in terms of size. We have micro SMEs with just 2 or 3 workers, and very big companies like with thousands of workers. So putting them together helps the little entities to know how the big business is going, and
Yeah.
that somehow helps them to be more globalized and to have a wider point of view about their sector.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Let me. I think I'd like to pitch that same question to Elvis. If Elvis, you have any more enlightenment on that? That sort of two-pronged question on the AI Act, negative impact from on venture capital investing, or also how the clusters can help in training on the EU AI Act.
Yeah. So what I'm doing in one of my projects, Chris, is like, if I'm looking at those SME companies, most of them they think it's a big risk to invest in new technology, in robots, in AI. So they are not going to do it unless they see proof from other companies, similar companies that invest in it. So what I'm trying to do in one of the projects that we have, we call it Cobot Assist. It's together a collaboration with Belgium and the Netherlands. And we will try to help SMEs. We will choose, let's say, 4 or 5 companies in the Netherlands and the same in Belgium. And we will go to those SMEs. We will provide them with the robot and the solution with AI and everything. We will pay for it from the projects, so that we can convince them in those 3 months to let them show them the business case.
Yeah,
and
good one.
If they say, okay, guys, I believe in it. You showed me, I see the business case. Now I'm willing to buy it. And then we will say, okay, we're going to take the robot with us. It's going to a different customer. But we will get you in contact with a company that can build this for you exactly the same like we did. So just to convince those SMEs, we need to take them. We need to take them with us in those baby steps, so they are getting convinced. But what we try to do as well in one of the projects is like, it's not just putting the equipment there. The people who's going to need to work with it is going to need training. Those guys are working in those companies, let's say for 20 years, they're doing the same work every day. They know how to do it. And now they need to work together with the robot. They need also training in that. And what will happen?
Do you help with that? Do you help with the training on that?
Yes, we will help them with that as well. So what we do is we involve universities in this project, and we will ask them, can you give those companies, let's say, a few months of training, intensive training, so that everybody will understand what the robot is doing in your company. Otherwise, the robot will be there. There will be an error, 100%. They will get an error. and the guy who knows what to do when the error is there is not in the company. So what will happen? They will just unplug it and just put it away, and they will do it the work themselves.
Yeah.
Instead of, okay, I understand what this error is. I need to push the green button and it will restart, and then he can proceed. So
Yeah.
you need those trainings to train those people that's in the company. But remember, those guys, they didn't go to universities. They don't know what the robot is. They are thinking the robot is going to take my job away. So
you have to overcome that. Yeah.
you need to help them as well. So it's like taking the whole process and the whole project from A till the end, and then you need to take them with baby steps. And training is one of the most important things, I guess, for the people who's working in the company, and for the owner, the director. It's important to see the business case. So
Yeah.
those two things is
Good.
pretty important if you want to convince those SMEs.
Very
And
good.
it doesn't matter in which sector. If you're looking at the agriculture, the healthcare sector, or the manufacturing sector, it doesn't matter. This is the concept that you need to do in all those sectors.
Would any of the other speakers like to throw in something on that, add to it? Maybe Sylvia?
It's very interesting, Elvis, what you are told about robotics, and I totally agree with you. But in our case, in the construction field, it's hard to understand the advantage that the AI can give to us, and also the negative impact. For example, as a cluster builder, we work on ceramics. And in this case, for example, for advanced manufacturing, AIs, robotics are very important and still have a very positive impact on that. We are the main export of ceramics in the world. But for example, if we think about generative AI for architecture or the building information modeling, I don't want to say that it's negative, that they have a negative impact, but it's tricky for us, for the technicians, because it seems that as an architect or as an engineer, you don't have any more work on it because there is the generative AI. But I don't think
But
so.
it can't. But they could use it as a tool, couldn't they?
Exactly.
To be more efficient,
Yes, just a
right?
support of your cognitive activity.
Yeah.
And moreover, it's not a negative impact, but it's something that we have to think about it. For example, thanks to the AI and as a tool, as a process to develop the digital twin of a building, of a city, and how to move on to facility management and innovative facility management of these kind of assets. We have to think about whose belong all the data, who can manage the data in the future. This is the only, not negative impact, but something that we have to think about it.
Okay, good caveat. Let's Juan, I think you had something to add there.
Yeah, coming back to the AI Act, which was the beginning of the question.
Yeah.
Two reflections on this from my side. Well, first of all, this is a choice that we as Europeans have made.
Well, yeah, it is. It's in part to prevent it from becoming the Wild West, right? That's it. That's it. Rules, right? In terms of copyright, in terms of privacy, things like that.
Yeah. So I mean, whether BC will invest or not in European startups because of the AI Act, I don't know. To be honest, I don't have a crystal ball.
You don't see it yet. You don't see the impact yet. Okay.
But we shouldn't forget that the AI Act has its roots in the Gen AI appearance in the last 2 years. But again, AI is much more than this. And when we are talking about industrial use of the AI, most of the AI in this case is not classified in the AI Act as critical risk or even low medium risk. Is very low risk because they usually don't involve personal data.
Yeah.
Normally, when you want to improve an assembly chain efficiency, it's not about personal data normally. Generally speaking, of course, there may be some cases for when includes, by the way, robots, human interaction, or when it has to do with safety of the workers. There, yeah, okay, of course, the AI Act will classify these activities or these AI in a medium or high risk. But otherwise, again, AI is much more than this, and in industrial ecosystems, I think the impact of the AI will be low.
Okay.
AI Act,
yeah.
of course.
Okay, good. Let me throw out a question about opportunities. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for AI innovation in your ecosystem over the next 2 years? We're looking forward a little bit on this, as we have what, about we have 8 minutes left in our talk. So I don't know, Andre, do you have an idea?
So we see lately a very strong rise in digital health, in the sense that lots of startups are appearing with products which are AI powered, of course, on different health applications. So also for medical purposes, to identify cancer, for instance, and help the doctors to identify faster the cancer, of course. But we also see different products which are helping the blind persons, for instance, to navigate on day-to-day activities with the startup, which maybe some of you know, Lumen, and it's a famous startup from Romania. Also an EIC winner. They also AI powered their product to help the blind persons to navigate on the streets, for instance. And lots of new startups coming in this field, in the digital health field. And I see an appetite because, yeah, well, it's a high risk, of course, using AI in the medical technologies, but it also can be a very game-changing products. So we try to support those startups, which are part of our clusters as well. And we try to bring opportunities for them on the technical mentoring, on the business development mentoring, but also giving them access to different infrastructures to scale up their products, training the models, giving HPC capabilities, and so on.
Clara, would you like to add to that? What do you see in the next 2 to 3 years about AI as an opportunity for your cluster, for your members?
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of opportunities if we see cities from the citizens' point of view. I think that there are a lot of options of increasing the well-being of citizens, because many of the new services are more focused from the city council teams point of view, in the sense of, creating platforms to manage things. But I think that there is a lot of opportunities from the point of view of increasing the well-being of citizens, identifying, for example, where are the places of the cities that are very most well accepted by citizens, and making suggestions about where to go, or the better actions to do. So for our cluster, I think that there's a great field of options. And even for us, in the sense of improving the services that we offer to our cluster members. Because since we cover such a big amount of information of different sectors, giving this wide point of view of what happens in a city makes better services for one city, for one entity that it only belongs to one sector. So, for example, if we work with traffic, but we include the point of view of urbanization, the point of view of sustainability, and many other services are going to be better. And I think that AI can help a lot with that.
Let me, Elvis, let me look to you. You were part of that C2 lab in Zaragoza. Can you talk about how that was an opportunity? How much was AI in it?
Yeah.
But also, let's flag it up because we've got others coming up, other C2 labs coming up.
I'm not sure if my sound is still good. Is it okay, Chris?
Yeah, we hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. About opportunities in AI in general, but also for Europe, where we can work together. What I see, and I'll come back to your question, Chris, about what we did in Zaragoza. I would say for the next 2-3 years, we can use a lot of development in AI. And what I mean with that is, like, if you look into precision farming, what I see now in our agrobots project that we did, let's say, for now 5-6 years, agrobots already with different kind of projects, and I'm going for the next 3 years also for new things to develop. But precision farming is like the companies there is like doing the same process every time, again and again and again. What I would like to see is why don't we share it is something simple, the images that the robots, the cameras takes from the fields. If you look at weeding for this thing, it's like, why don't you share those images with all the companies? Can't we have one data center in Europe where we share those images with all of us? So the image itself, it's not it's nothing. I mean, it's just an image, but it gets value where the company do something with those images. But gathering those images, we don't have to do that process all over again. And that's what's happening right now. What I see the last 5-6 years is also going to be the next 2-3 years. The company is going to do the same thing again and again.
Right.
So yes, please, if everybody, all the clusters here agree on that, let's build a data center and then share all those images with each other. For now, I'll give you an example. One of our companies is going to Italy for 5-6 weeks. He's taking the airplane just to get the images, because in the Netherlands, we don't have such a good weather, a lot of rains, and he needs those images for his project. So he says, okay, I'll take my robot with me. I'll go to Italy, I'll take the images, and I'll come back and I'll do the processing in the Netherlands. It's kind of, if you ask me, stupid, and take a lot of money and time just to do that process. But he needs it, otherwise he can't build anything. He can't train his models.
Right.
So yeah, that's one thing. For the food processing, if you look in automating system, a lot of food processing already automated, but we can focus with AI there in waste. How can we reduce the waste? So that could help us as well. If you look at decision support tools, and what I mean with that is, how can we help the farmer in making the right decision? I think AI can help there, but he needs a dashboard also translated for him, of course, not the hard data, but he needs simplifying things, but he needs a dashboard, and we need to develop that from the software side. And
could maybe help.
Sorry?
Your cluster could maybe help with that. Is that a startup or a small company that would do that for?
We are not doing that right now, but that is the next step that I want the companies to develop. I want them to focus on that as well, because you can build a robot, you can put him on the fields, and he will do the weeding for you. But the farmer needs to know, where is the robot? What is he doing? Which kind of weeds did he take out? Is he taking the right weeds, or is the plant?
Yeah.
So he wants those kind of information. We need to provide them with that. And we need also to provide them where if there is a disease somewhere on the plants, so he needs to take action. So when he wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning, he needs to know, so AI can help him with that and the software side. to tell them, okay, in section 7D, you need to go there. There is something going on with those plants. There is a disease, so you need to treat it. And if he's on time, it's going to save him money as well. And he doesn't have to use a lot of chemicals as well. But we need that dashboard for the farmers as well. So that needs to develop as well.
Yeah, yeah. So
also for predictive maintenance about his tractor and all those things and the robots and predictive maintenance with AI combined, it can be helpful as well.
okay,
So
great.
those things, and now I'll come back to your question. In Zaragoza, what we did, I'm sorry guys, it just cut me off if I'm talking too much, but in Zaragoza, what we did there is, and I loved it, it was like, we had different topics where we talked about and which countries wants to work on which sector. So we made a few groups there, and each person was in one of the groups, what he thinks is interesting for their sector or for their cluster. What I discussed there with our clusters is like, okay, guys, it's good to meet each other. It's good to see that we want to work together and we want to solve different kind of problems in each country, because not all the countries have the same problem right now. And some countries are perhaps a little bit farther, but needs the help from the others. And that's perfect. That's where we are in Europe all together to help each other. But now we need to get it more concrete. So it's, for me, it was like more like a brainstorm and to meet the people that wants to work together. And from there on, we need now to focus on, okay, let's make it more concrete. Let's write things down and let's go towards one of the fundings that we have in Europe.
Excellent. Okay, good. Well, you sold me on that. That's great. Elvis, thank you. Juan, Andre, Clara, Sylvia, thank you so much to all of you for being part of this panel. It was really great, very productive. A lot of good questions from the audience as well. A lot of stuff in the chat that I didn't make reference to because really interesting stuff, worth looking into. Let's move on then. Thanks to all of you. And let's move back to Antonio, team member of ECCP, for some funding opportunities.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah. Let me just refer to the comment on a specific session on AI tools for cluster management. We are planning it, and it is not still confirmed, so don't take it as fixed, but we are estimating for it the 21 of May next month. And it will be a special session, more training than session, because we need time for discussing it. And we are planning 2 hours long dedicated to this kind of what tools are available for us and how can we best use them. So of course you will be notified on the ECCP website about the final date for this session, and you are all invited to attend. On funding opportunities, we have 3 coming from Digital Europe. You know, the first one is on sectoral digital skills, academic digital skills in Gen AI. It's very important to provide our members and the community with training for Gen AI, and this is an opportunity for funding it. The next one is on virtual worlds. It's also related to the technology topic, and it's open up to 2nd of September this year. There is another one on data spaces for the creation of the data spaces support center, and that would be also a very high level topic for a potential consortium, including clusters. So you are encouraged to look for them. And the last one is 3 calls related to or launched by Eurocluster, still open for any interested parties. So the first one is on internationalization. And if you have SMEs looking for opportunities on North America, Canada, and USA, there is still the possibility of supporting them through this funding opportunity. The free NCCI call for providers is still open, and the training grants coming from Ingenious is also open for proposals. So I think this is it.
Great. All right. Well, Antonio, thank you very much. Thanks to everybody for this EU cluster talk. Very productive. Be sure to register for the next ones. You can see there on the screen. Register for the cluster collaboration platform. You can continue your discussion online in the LinkedIn discussion group, and hashtag EU clusters talks if you want to send anything out, and please do from anything that you heard during this session. This is recorded for playback. The slides are available on the cluster collaboration platform. So I'm Chris Burns. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.